All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in property management, that mountain of paperwork, right? Well, today we're diving into a technology that's completely changing the game. We're going to show you how to turn all those dense lease agreements and policy docs into your own personal on-demand assistant. So let's jump right in.
I mean, we've all had this moment, haven't we? It's the end of the week, an urgent request pops up, and you get that sinking feeling. You know the answer is buried in some super long document, but actually finding it, it's like looking for a needle in a digital haystack. And just like that, your team has to drop everything they're doing to go on this wild goose chase for one little clause.
Yeah, if that hits a little too close to home, trust me, you are not alone. This daily hunt for information, it's more than just annoying. It's a serious drain on your business. So let's talk about how we can fix this. For good.
This is what we're calling the document dilemma. Think about it. Every single hour your team spends just scrolling through PDFs or, digging through old filing cabinets, that's an hour they're not spending building tenant relationships, working on property improvements, or thinking about how to grow the business. And those hidden costs, they add up really, really fast.
But what if you could just completely flip that script? This is exactly where an AI-powered solution comes into play. We're talking about going from the frustration of those manual searches to the power of getting instant, accurate answers. It's all about freeing up your team to focus on what actually matters.
So what exactly is this stuff? Well, AI document intelligence. Think of it as software that can read and understand your documents just like a person would, but, at lightning speed. It basically takes your entire library of leases, amendments, agreements, all of it, and turns it into this single, super smart database that you can actually talk to.
And you can really see the difference here. The old way, it's slow, and honestly, it's really easy to make mistakes. I mean, did you accidentally miss one key phrase in that 50-page lease? It happens. But the new way, it's like having an AI assistant that gives you instant, super accurate answers. The jump in efficiency here is it's a total game changer.
Okay, so maybe you're thinking, all right, I'm in. This sounds great. But where do you even begin? The good news is there are options out there for every portfolio size. So let's break down how to find the perfect fit for your specific needs, because this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
If you've got a smaller portfolio, let's say under 20 properties or so, you can actually start playing with this stuff right now. The paid version of ChatGPT, it lets you upload a single PDFs and just ask it questions. It's an awesome, super low-risk way to see what this is all about. The main catch, though, is that it can only handle one document at a time.
All right, but for those of you who are ready to really scale up, let's look at some of the dedicated players in this space. If you have a growing portfolio, a tool like DocSumo is really powerful because it connects right into systems you're probably already using, like Yardi. That saves a ton of manual data entry. Now, for the big commercial operations where every detail matters, something like V7 Go gives you industrial-strength accuracy. We're talking about complex, high-stakes documents where missing one little clause could cost you thousands. And hey, if you're already using MRI software, then their Lease Intelligence tool is pretty much a no-brainer. It's designed to work perfectly with what you already have, creating one single source of truth for everything. And let's get real about the impact here. This isn't just a tiny improvement. A manual lease review, that can take a skilled pro anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. But with a specialized tool like V7 Go, that same process gets crunched down to about 15, maybe 20 minutes. I mean, just look at this chart. We're talking about going from hours of mind-numbing work down to mere minutes. That's incredible. And you gotta understand, these are not just simple search bars. These platforms can pull out hundreds of different data points from your documents. They can answer really complex questions that cover your entire portfolio. They can find a specific clause, like about HVAC or subleasing, in a split second. And, this is super important, they give you a full audit trail. That means you can always click right back to the original document to double-check everything. It's all about having trust and speed. So, all this time-saving sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like day to day? Let's walk through a really practical example to see how this makes your team not just more efficient, but way more responsive too. Okay, picture this. Your maintenance coordinator gets a simple question. Who's on the hook for parking lot repairs across, say, 15 different properties? The old way of doing this is just painful. You gotta find all 15 leases, read through every single one, scribble down notes, and then somehow pull it all together in a report. It's a massive waste of time. Just for that one question, you're easily burning 2, maybe 3 hours of manual labor. That's basically half a morning gone for just one inquiry. Now, think about that and multiply it by all the questions your team fields every single week. It's staggering. Okay, now let's flip it. The new way. You just ask your AI assistant one simple question. Something like, hey, for these 15 properties, who's responsible for parking lot repairs? That's it. And boom, in about 30 seconds, you get a clean, compiled answer. A lot of times, it's even in a nice little table with links that take you straight to the exact clause in each lease. What used to take hours now takes less time than it does to brew a cup of coffee. I mean, the jump in productivity is almost hard to wrap your head around. So the big question is, how do you actually get started with this without it feeling like some huge, overwhelming project? The key is having a smart plan. So let's lay out a clear path to get you going. Here it is, your simple 3-step action plan. Step 1, just start small. Use that ChatGPT method we talked about. Think of it as a cheap and easy proof of concept. Just try it with a few of your most important documents. Once you see how valuable it is, you can move on to step 2. Evaluate. This is where you start looking at those dedicated solutions we mentioned based on how big your portfolio is. And then finally, step 3, scale. You pick the right tool, you implement it, and you free up your team to do much more high-value work. And just so it's super clear, here's a quick guide on where to start. If you're under 20 units, dip your toes in the water with ChatGPT. For those in that mid-size range from 20 to 100 units, it's probably time to explore something like DocSumo. And if you're in the big leagues with a large commercial portfolio, you're going to want the power and accuracy of a tool like V7 Go or MRI Lease Intelligence. And look, if you take away only one thing from this, let it be this. AI document intelligence is not about replacing your staff. It's about freeing them. It's about getting rid of the boring, tedious work so that your talented people can focus on what they do best. Things like strategy, building great tenant relationships, and actually growing the business. It's really all about empowerment. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. If you could give your team back hundreds of hours every single year, hours they're currently wasting on tedious searches, what could they accomplish? What incredible things could they do for your business? The potential is just massive. Thanks so much for tuning in.